Cornerback Jalen Ramsey of the Jacksonville Jaguars has requested a trade. I'll talk about why the Bengals should pull the trigger on this move next on New Stripe City. So I know what you're thinking. Ace, why would the Bengals trade for Jalen Ramsey? Obviously, him and A.J. Green fought on the field. There were some frustrations. Well, in a world where Antonio Brown and Vontaze Burfict were able to be on the same team for a brief moment, I do think that this could happen. And I think that the Bengals should seriously consider this for several reasons. First, we'll talk about the negatives. Number one, obviously, he had issues with A.J. Green. I think that they would be able to move past that. Number two, Ramsey is a very strong personality. That can be a good and a bad thing. He's obviously a very confident corner. He says a lot of things. He blew up on the sideline at his coach. So bringing him in, you have the potential to possibly do that. But you also have to look at the fact that he is the best corner in the NFL. Some other negatives. Zach Taylor may not be able to handle him as a head coach, being that he's a younger guy. I actually think that this actually works in Zach's favor because the younger guys may be viewed as more relatable and things of that nature. So I don't think it will be an issue if they do bring Jalen Ramsey into this locker room. Another negative could potentially be the money. Hey, he wants a brand new contract. If he doesn't have a contract, he may cause some kind of issue. Jalen Ramsey right now is in the fourth year of his rookie deal. If the Bengals wanted to keep him for an additional year, they could always exercise his option. Now, that could lead to a holdout and things of that nature. But I think at this moment, you have to consider that. The risk is high risk, high reward. Another negative thing might be, hey, you're going to have to give up 2 first-round draft picks. Yeah, that is true. There is a potential asking price there. But let's talk about the positives. Number one, you would get to pair and have arguably the top tandem in the NFL with Jalen Ramsey and William Jackson III. You'd be able to free up a lot of your defensive linemen. You'd be able to shut down a lot of teams if you were able to put in a Jalen Ramsey with the William Jackson III. You're talking about adding the best cornerback in the NFL onto your team. That is going to make a heavy impact. Now, some people may say, hey, we don't need a cornerback. We need offensive line. We need a tackle, things of that nature. And that's fine. I totally understand. I get it. But if you're trading for Trent Williams, you're talking about a guy who's already in his 30s, whereas Jalen Ramsey is only 24 years old. And if you can get by offering a first-round pick for next year and a guy like Drake Kirkpatrick, you're eliminating 2 issues there. You're able to swap 2 contracts out for each other. You're not losing much money in that aspect. And you still, if my math is correct, will still have enough money for guys like A.J. Green to extend and things of that nature. So, Andy Dalton's in the contract year. If you wanted to do a soft rebuild, you really could. But the thing is, you still be able to keep all of these guys together. And the other thing is you still have that option of extending Ramsey for next year. So even if he potentially wants to be traded to another team in his 5th year, you can still do that. That option is still there. If it doesn't work out, oh well, you can move on. You can cut your losses. But at minimum, you're still going to get a first-round pick for Jalen Ramsey. The asking price right now is 2 first-rounders. So there's no way that even if you traded a first-rounder and Drake Kirkpatrick to get him, that you wouldn't be able to recoup that value in the event that he does request a trade or things of that nature after this season. The other thing positive is this is an immediate impact move. It says something to your fan base that you're willing to go out and make a blockbuster trade because you are not satisfied with mediocrity and you're not satisfied with being 0-2. This is a move that you would have to make. This immediately impacts your team. You bring a guy like Jalen Ramsey in, there's several things that could happen, but for almost a fact, I can't say officially because it never has happened, but you put him and William Jackson the third, and you take that defense over there and you give it a boost, I think you see a lot of things start to happen differently. Also, I think in terms of impact, I think his personality, although I don't consider it being a leader and things of that nature, I think the Bengals could actually tend to have a guy like that in the locker room. They really don't have those guys that are extremely confident and really haven't had that since Chad. And I think that Ramsey could bring something, a sort of swagger to this defense to make them more tough. Like seeing him talk trash or things of that nature to a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers, or having him go against a guy like OBJ, those are things that you have to do. And those are things that you have to do in this division to help win football games. So adding him in gives the Bengals an advantage defensively, and I think it's something that you can't pass up. Now, I have several friends that are Jacksonville Jaguars fans. A lot of them say that a lot of his issues with the Jaguars stem from the scheme, and he doesn't believe that he's a fit for that scheme. He doesn't like the scheme, but if he's able to thrive in our scheme, that could be something that could potentially work in our favor as well. I'm not saying that this is realistic. They released and said that one team from the AFC offered a player and a first-round pick. I think it should be the Bengals. I think that they should at least be testing the waters to see what they could do here. It might be a pipe dream. It's probably not going to happen based off of their past behavior, but I think that it's something, in my opinion, that they should do. And I'll always talk about hypotheticals and stuff on this channel, so don't take this and think that I have inside sources that say that this is potentially going to happen. This is just me voicing my opinion on what they should do. We brought it up on the Orange is the New Black podcast yesterday on episode 5. If you haven't listened to that, be sure to check it out. Me and Zim talked about potentially rebuilding and things of that nature. But when you are in a league where you have to make statement moves, i.e. the Pittsburgh Steelers trading for Minkah Fitzpatrick, going all in on Minkah Fitzpatrick, they might end up being trashed this year. But the message that sends to your fan base and the team itself is that we're not giving up at 0-2. So I think that this move would be important for all aspects of everything in Cincinnati. I think that this is potentially the only move that could help give some fans some kind of optimism outside of that. And the Bengals have been lackadaisical when it comes to making these moves, and I tend to want to kind of expose that because these are moves that can be made. These are moves that need to be at least being talked about. And if no one's going to put it out there, then I will. I think that the Bengals should go after, and it sounds crazy, but I think that they should go after Jalen Ramsey. And I think that you should consider trading that first-round pick and Dre Kirkpatrick and maybe even a 5th-round pick as well to throw in there to sweeten the deal to see if they will bite. So with that being said, you guys jump in the comments, let me know what you think. And as usual, I'll leave you with a who day, all day, every day, and especially on Sunday. And be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share this video. I'm out.